Hello everybody, welcome to Fruitful Trees. I wanted to make this video and it's so important for people that are interested in growing mangoes or just getting one mango tree. Or if you have room for 2 or 3 mango trees. This is so important. There's so many things to think about when you're going to buy a mango tree. What mango you like the best in terms of taste-wise. Should you taste a mango before you buy it? And so on. But one of the most important things that I don't see enough people talking about is the season. With mangoes, there are 3 types of season, and this information is here for South Florida, but I would assume it's the same everywhere. There's so many different varieties. As a matter of fact, my friend Alex has a farm called Tropical Acres Farms, where they have over 300 varieties of mangoes here in the United States that he's regularly growing. And each mango has a different season, as you see all these different mangoes. And if you have room for only 2 trees, you want to make sure you don't have a tree that is for the same season as the other tree. There's 3 seasons. There's an early season, a mid-season, and a late season. So you want to find the mango that's going to best suit your needs. Besides the size of the tree and how productive it is, this is a very important thing to discuss. Because if you go away in the late season every year, you won't want to get a late season mango. So consider these things. Even if you have room for a lot of trees, you still want to think about what trees are going to give you the best mangoes while you are here and how you can extend your season. Such an important thing. So considering that, if you only have room for 1 tree, I know some people that top work half of the tree so they could have more than 1 variety on this tree, like I have on this tree here. I have 3 varieties on this particular tree. But even when you do that, you can do 2 different season mangoes, but you have to make sure that they're the same size, because you don't want a smaller mango and then a super big mango on the same tree, because one side's going to outgrow the other, and that's eventually going to cause a problem. So I'm just going to show you some of my trees here today and show you a little bit more about the selections I've made and maybe help you make these selections. Now, if you want to know what season exactly the mangoes are, early, middle, or late, go to Tropical Acres Farms and check out, I'll put the link below, each individual mango. It talks about the tree size, the productivity of the tree, the disease resistance of the tree, which is another thing to consider when you're getting a tree. And then also it talks about the season of the mango, which is so important that a lot of people that are new to this don't consider when they're first planting. And then they realize, well, I got 2 trees and they're the same season. Well, some of them never realize that. So it's ideal if you only have room for 2 trees to get an early and a late, because this way the later end of the early one will hit mid-season and the later season one might hit the beginning of the season. So that'll give you the most area. And if you only have room for 1 tree, then perhaps a mid-season so you can get early, late. But let me show you what I got growing on here for those of you. Now I have other trees other than just mango trees, but this is a topwork or a double mango tree. So originally this mango tree here was called a Kent mango tree. And here's my Kent mango tree leaf. The only one, the branch that's still left on the tree is this one here. And this is a very late season mango. They grow really big. They taste well. This is the old Kent and Kit, were the old mangoes that everyone had here in South Florida. For a long time, they were the standard. This is a late season. But they are susceptible to something called bacterial black spot. And unless you're spraying your trees a lot, you're going to lose a big part of your crop, up to 50% of your crop. So that's something you want to consider. Also, if you have room for only 1 tree, I wouldn't get a late season only, because the late season, the weather has more of a chance to affect the mangoes after blowing all summer the crop off the tree. So unless you really love the late season, that wouldn't be my first choice. So that's a Kit. It's a good sized tree. It grows a pretty good size. Now here is the other mango I have, and It looks like they're almost ready here. This is called an Angie. And I top worked a majority of this tree to Angie. It's a very reliable, very disease resistant mango. More early to mid-season or early mid-season mango. This is called Angie. And definitely a smaller tree than the Kit or the Kent. So I got to keep an eye on it. And it's only one branch here that's still a Kit or Kent. So I'm not too concerned with it overgrowing, but I definitely got to keep an eye on that. But that's an Angie. And I did have an orange sherbet coming out here. And it just was getting in the way of this other fruit tree that I have. So I decided to move that. But on this side here is a Fairchild. So this Fairchild is another mid-season mango here. Maybe mid to season, leaning towards the later season. Don't take my word for it of the season. Go check Tropical Acres Farms. And this year we have a late season for everything. So if you read a tree that says normally it fruits early in May, well, this year everything's a month behind, it seems, as opposed to other years. But that's Fairchild. And Fairchild is not a super big tree. It stays on the mid to smaller size for the tree. So it's very comparable to the Angie. And the reason why I put Fairchild on here is because I had another Fairchild tree, but I didn't have enough room for it, so I got rid of the tree, but I wanted to keep the mango. This tree will get big. It's a small tree, but I know somebody with an old tree that's super big. Understand, all mango trees will get super big if you let them. Even a small pickering will get super big if you let it. But so we got Angie, we got Fairchild, and we have a few Kits. All right, let's take a look at a few more mango trees that I've selected here from my yard. Now this tree here is a Lemon Zest. I don't want my trees to get too big, but if there's one tree that's going to get big, this is going to be one of them. This is an exceptional mango, probably the best tasted mango you'll ever taste. And my neighbor's tree, I got to show you that, is loaded. This year it's not as loaded. And this one also is susceptible to bacterial black spots. So you got to be careful with it and spray it maybe more often. But there you go. That's Lemon Zest. And it was interesting because last year I cut this tree. And the part that I didn't cut is thriving. Absolutely thriving. But the part that I did cut, maybe I cut it too much because it's not much on there. So learned a lesson there. And that's a early to mid-season mango. This here's a Sweet Tart. Sweet Tart, more of a mid to later season Sweet Tart. And they call this one the branch breaker. This one will break some branches. You see how many there are in one cluster? So a good idea is not to leave like more than 3 on each cluster. Because if you do, they're just going to grow smaller. You see this one only has 2 and they're growing much bigger than this one here. So consider those. Sometimes we plant a tree and we think it's something and we get a mislabel. That's what this one is. So I'm not sure what that mango is. And a few people guessed, but we'll just have to wait and see. This here is one of my favorite tasting mangoes. It's called a CAC, C-A-C. How big and beautiful these are. And these are almost ready. It's called a CAC mango. Now, if you are going to top work a tree, here's a great example of a tree that I top work. This was a curry tree, and I still have some curry on there, but I top worked this to something called emerald, which is curry's not a really big tree, and it can get big if you let it grow, but emerald's not a big tree either, about the same size as curry. So I could leave some curry on there, but I wanted this to transfer over and become a Angie tree. And there's some of the top work I'm waiting to see if it's going to take, and it's looking good at the moment that that'll take. And here you see parts that did take. So this is or has become my emerald tree. Just delicious. And I believe that's mid-season. So that was the original graft over here. And now, as you can see, they've grown very nicely. Now these two trees here are called lemon meringue. These are the first trees I planted. And again, last year I cut them back too much. So there's not much on there now. There's more on the other side. But it's very interesting because I left the corner. I cut it less than this side, and you can see it. But just experimenting, but these trees will grow back nice. Keep in mind when you cut a bigger tree, you need to paint. You see how I painted the tree there? Because this tree was just as big, and when I cut it, the canopy was no longer there, so the sun was getting on the tree, so that's why you paint the tree so it doesn't get sunburned. I didn't do that on this tree, and it developed some sunburn. So you want to keep that in mind. I'm going to go around to the other side of this tree here. And show you there's a bunch of a crop that's coming. Lemon meringue. So this is a later season tree, everybody. This one's called M4. This tree's called M4. It's a later season coconut flavored mango. It's delicious. M4. And then here, as you can see, I have a whole bunch of different other types of trees in the background, but this one is interesting. This one is another tree that has more than one mango on it. This was originally a Duncan tree, a Duncan mango tree, and a lot of these here are Duncan mangoes. Delicious, delicious mango. But as you can see, there's I put several of the trees. This was my experimental tree. I have mangoes growing here that are turning colors. I have so many different branches here, and it's important when you change a tree that you label it. And some of the labels fell off, but we see obviously different types of mangoes on some of the on this tree. I think I have 3 different varieties. I have Duncan, and I put on here Sunrise. And then besides Sunrise, I put 1 Sugarloaf branch. And besides Sugarloaf, I have 1 Bailey's Marble. But this tree is mostly Duncan and Sugarloaf. Here's one on the floor. I doubt that's good. It's just happened to fall off, so I have to check that out later. I'll have to investigate and see where I put what. That's my surprise tree. Not my prize tree, my surprise tree, because I don't remember where I put the grafts on there. And then this one is loaded. This is loaded. This is my orange sherbet. And this tree is interesting because it looks from a distance like it's not loaded. But when you look inside, it is loaded. Loaded. And again, go to Tropical Acres Farms. I'll put the link below and check to see the seasons of all these different mangoes. Now I'm going to go over to Mango Land and show you some more mango trees. Oh, by the way, this is my neighbor's Angie tree that's coming over on my side of the yard. So I'm going to get some good mangoes from his tree here. One more tree to show you here. This is a Pickering tree. Look how small this tree is. And look, there's a bunch of mangoes on this little tiny tree in my front yard here. Look how cute these little kittens are. So cute. They're not little anymore, they're growing. Oh, don't get up, buddy. Alright, let's go and look at Mango Land. Alright, everybody, here we are in Mango Land. Here's our rosy gold. Looking nice. Here we have Honeykiss. This is a late season mango, everybody. Honeykiss. A delicious late season mango. And then we have this Tess Pollock mango. Tess Pollock. A few on there. Then what I consider the best tasting mango, it's a smaller tree. This is called Ice Cream. This is Ice Cream mango. I top worked this tree. This was a seedling that was here when I got the house. I top worked the tree. That is Ice Cream. Now there's a whole variety of Asian mangoes that look much different. They're longer, smaller. You could eat these green. So this is one called here a Pim Sing Moon. Pim Sing Moon. Right. This here is a Neelam mango. This one is another late season, a good late season mango, and I put one branch here of lemon zest that's growing pretty well. You only need one branch to take to convert the tree over, but that's a little lemon zest. Now I'm going to show you why they call this Mango Land. Look at Mango Land. This here, I'm so excited about, is a peach cobbler mango. One of my favorites. I want this tree to get big. I left a big space here to cover and shade the whole yard. I'm not into having super big trees, but this one has a spot to get big and shady. Peach cobbler, and it's good because it's a very big growing tree. So that's peach cobbler. Look, I have never tasted this mango before, but I hear it's amazing. It's called Orange Essence. Orange Essence. This one is Sunrise. Look how loaded these are. Look. This tree is called Little Gem. Look at the yield. This is a late season. This is a very prolific late season mango called Little Gem. And this early season, and they're this big. They're not that little. Look at that. They're gonna get much bigger than that. Little gem. So hopefully from this video you'll get some good tips on what to get. This one's a much younger tree here. Look at this. This tree is called a dot. Great tasting tree. Dot, and it is loaded. This tree is called Fruit Punch. Oh, this one is called Seacrest, also known as Triple Sec. One of those trees that has more than one name. Excellent variety. And this one, wow. This tree was hit with powdery mildew a lot, but some of the mangoes broke through. White Paris. Now take it, some of these trees are 5 to 6 years old, so that's why they're doing so great. So you got to be patient. But this is called White Paris. Now I took a tree out of here and I put in a banana. I don't want to say I regret it, but it is what it is. Eventually we need more space between the trees. But that is a banana tree that I put there for the meantime. This, possibly the best tasting tree around, Super Alfonso. Super Alfonso. Wow. Amazing. Here we have buttercream. It's buttercream. This is Phoenix. This is a newer tree, so there's not much in the ground. Not much on the tree here. I took the few mangoes that were on here off. We have a guava mango, this is called. Guava mango. This one here is called a graham. And that one's called Sugarloaf. Behind that is coconut cream. It's so wonderful. This one here is a sweet tart. There's a seedling of a sweet tart. Actually, it was a seedling that I top worked into a sweet tart. Okay. This here's a Pickering. This is stay on the smaller side. We have a apricot tasting mango. We have another Neelam here. That's called Edgar. This tree is a fruit cocktail. Fruit cocktail. Look at that. And that's cotton candy. Just amazing. You come around here. This here is was a seedling that I top work, and I believe these were Timor that I top worked this with. Timor. This is called ST Maui. This one's a Kesar. Look at my neighbor's Namduk Mai. Amazing. This one here is called Carla. This one is another ice cream. There's an ice cream. There's some mangoes on there. This is a Ceci Love. And there's my Angie tree. That's Angie. And finally, Pineapple Pleasure. Pineapple Pleasure. Wow. All right. So that's our mango trees at the moment. And we have some potted trees as well. Now we're going to have to get in the ground, but we don't have any room. And that's what's growing on. See some potted trees here. Just put down some tarp for them. We got this one staying in a, well, we got this Bombay, that's going to stay in a pot. That gets way too big. There's a small apricot. This is a Giselle. Then we have another emerald. All right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed your tour. I will give you more updates as the season goes along and we taste these mangoes. But remember, when you buy a tree, you got to be a little strategic about it. All these trees have different growing times in terms of their season. Most of them are disease resistant. Some of them are not. Most of them are. And size-wise, some of them get super big, but for the most part, these don't grow as fast as some of the super big trees like a Valencia Pride or something else. And I have a good amount of smaller trees as well. Thanks for watching, everybody. Put your comments and questions below. Have a great day and keep growing.